and welcome to a absolutely perfectly planned Top Drive show on location at the wonderful Joe Macari showroom in southwest London. They've been excellent to us. We're going to show you around in a bonus video that will be released in the near future, so keep an eye for that. There will be a card up at the top right. We're going to get going with some cool stuff for this holiday special, including your questions. Let's go. So, Hutch TV. Yeah, that's what we're doing here. Right, okay. Now I can hold this with one hand. That's a lot easier. So yeah, it is the holidays.
Yep.
Some people call it Christmas. Yeah,
jumper.
the Christmas jumper.
Nobody else got the memo, unfortunately. But,
yeah, I just sort of I showed up in something a little bit nicer, but I didn't really think it through. No. But we're going to go straight to the questions. We asked particularly for some interesting questions this time round, so let's see what you have got for us. We're going to go in from top voted comments. We're really, really well prepared at the moment, so I'm reading it from the YouTube comment section rather than, having saved them or anything. Will we ever see, so this is from Mateus Zira, who asks, will we ever see something like an inappropriate requirement for an event? Like 5 times hill climb with a requirement of 5 4-wheel drive, 5 performance tyres on snow. I think that would be cool.
Right. This comes up. This is funny because this is for this time of year, right? Last year we did the Porsche event and it was all snowy, and so that was kind of funny, except that it meant that you really could only make it if you had, like, I don't know, there were like 2 low rarity Porsches that could help you, and then the very legendary ones which hardly anybody could get. So people were not very happy about that.
Yes, I think we don't. Yeah, it was a classic case of that we do have to be careful about any sort of mismatched or kind of inappropriate requirements. There could be, like, if there's a couple of cars there that some of the high-end players have, that just completely sort of blow everything else away. Then it's we need to be cautious of that. But it's something, in a way, it's very much at the heart of Top Drives, that idea that sometimes you're going to have to be putting inappropriate cars into challenges. It is fun, and it does make you think about exactly what's going to be it's almost like damage limitation. It's like what's going to be the least, or the kind of, the least inappropriate car. It's kind of, that's what it becomes about. So yeah, I can definitely see more challenges coming. But
we do, each time we try something like this, we do get people complaining about it.
Yeah,
it does happen. So right now, for example, there's this slightly crazy Monaco Monsoon where you had to have 3 ultra rare French cars, which I do have. Yes.
But I know even in the team there were complaints that people were struggling to get into it.
Like, you gotta hold on to them. You spotted that there were 3 surely when you looked a year ago, right? And then when they came up, I'm like, right, definitely holding on to it. That's what I did. Anyway, but that has a lot of rainy drag races in it, which those cars are not optimal for. But they're a requirement, so everybody has one, so it's fair. But still, I saw some people going, oh, this is irrelevant to these cars. It's a silly thing to do. So it does mix it up, but some people feel sort of silly for, in a way, the game is about putting the right car on the right track, and when it makes you do something that you shouldn't do, maybe you sort of feel, I'm doing it a bit wrong. So I guess we just have to do it occasionally.
I think that's the thing. I think we enjoy it, but I think it's going to always be one of those occasional things in the future.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, and now,
carbon fibers?
What about carbon fibers? What about them?
For you.
Oh yes, Mateus, well done. You get a carbon fiber pack. Gosh. We are really slick today. Say mid-range acceleration.
Mid-range acceleration.
Say it louder.
Mid-range acceleration.
Good. Yeah. Okay, now we all feel better. The next question comes from Enderfailer, who asks, how about a special prize car when collecting the whole deck of a manufacturer? So this sort of goes back to what we were talking about last episode, where people were saying, can we get special bonuses for if we've collected a bunch of stuff? Yeah. We did have a commenter called Heisrod did make the comment that what this would mean is that people who have prize cars are thereby more eligible to get other prize cars. So it's a little bit tough to come up. But again, this is one of these things where people are talking about collectibles, and we understand that people like collecting. I like collecting.
It's one of these funny questions in that is actually how the game worked for its first, I don't know, maybe 6 months of its life. The prize cars were something. There was just one prize car per manufacturer, and you had to collect every single other car, and then you got it. And it was just when we were starting to kind of really play the game properly. It just collecting an entire set of one manufacturer is just difficult, and actually it just felt like there was a lot more exciting scope for prize cars in the events and in the challenges and things like that. I think, yeah, and I think, like you say, it goes back to this point that we discussed last time, that about collection. Like, people do want more from collection. We want more from collection. And actually, there's nothing kind of solid coming up, but it's definitely kind of, on the list, high up the list of things to look at. And I think if we can find a nice way to actually break up the cars in top drives into nice categories that are kind of meaningfully collectible, I think it probably would make sense that when you complete one of those sub collections, you get a prize of some description. Whether it's a car every time, I think we'd have to see.
Well, because you remember there was this other problem we ran into where we thought, I don't know if we determined it for certain, but we thought there might be a legal difficulty in Japan with their Kompu Gacha rules. You can't have a thing where there's something you can only get by having all of these things, and the way you get these things is at least in part random.
Yes.
And that they actually have a ruling against, so we couldn't have the game in Japan, maybe, if we did it that way.
Yeah.
So we do have to be careful of that.
Yeah. So it's something to be sort of looked at and considered. But I think basically it comes down to that we need to find more exciting ways to play with the collectible aspect of the game.
Okay.
Wait, I'm going to check the camera. I want to check that it's recorded.
It is.
It is. Are you certain?
I'm certain.
You can see a number going up?
I see the number going up, and I see the red light flashing. Yeah.
All right, good.
It'll be fine. Okay.
Leave that in.
Yeah. Jesper Cederholm, I hope I said that right, is asking, what about a race where the requirements are no duplicates? We've had this question before.
Yeah.
I think it would be fun. What do you think?
I think it would be fun as well. I mean, it does always. I mean, it's always quite kind of amusing in some ways when we see screenshots that people have sent in where they're going up against kind of 5 identical cars.
Yeah.
And I guess if the challenges are different, then it's still a different challenge. There's still a different kind of challenge on each of those races. I'm not sure about kind of whether it's something that we.
Yeah. Oh, the thing about it was we didn't want to make it a global thing, because that would be really annoying if you got lucky and you'd got 2 legendaries and they were both the same one. It would really be annoying if it's like, oh no, I can never use that second one, or whatever it was, or even limiting the strategy somewhat. It's like the best thing to do is to bring in 2 of these, and I have 2 of these because I've prepared. That's what the game's about. But the idea of having it as an option sometimes to judiciously add to an event was considered. I don't think it's quite as extreme as it used to be. I did some evaluation of the stats for the last year, well, the last 364 days, technically, because 2018 hasn't ended. The most played car by all players, excluding the ones that you win from the campaign because they get this sort of unfair bias, is the Datsun Rally car. And that is, I think, the one that drove the most complaints about duplicates.
I mean, it was sort of I guess it kind of almost emerged as the first and the kind of most achievable ultra specialist in a way, really, wasn't it?
With the off-road tires.
It was just so obvious in certain events, and with the RQ that it had, it was just an absolutely obvious choice. So, like you say, there were people that did have quite a few of them.
Yeah, I've still got 5 now, just in case. Kept them all when they came up. I've never had to use more than 2, even. I think there was a time when I thought I'd use 3, and then it was actually better to not.
Yeah.
But yeah, no duplicates. Maybe is something we should sometimes have as a ruling.
Nice. Okay. A question from Porsche Guy, who earns a carbon fiber pack for this question. Are we planning on doing some special Christmas/New Year events? And since the year is almost over, will we be attending any conventions next year? Now, on the convention front, I would like to say I would love to go to some conventions. If any convention organisers are looking for someone from Hutch to come, please invite us. We want to come. As for Christmas, New Year events, Any comments that I can get? Any plans that we know of right at this moment?
What? I mean, there are some. There's a bunch of crazy things
Yep.
going to happen. Some nice prizes. Yeah.
Yeah, some big events. I think a big challenge over Christmas. I think we've even got Christmas Leone.
That's right. Christmas Leone is
going to be
present
presenting. Yeah.
the Austin challenge that people have been waiting for. They come in every 2 months, and that time has come around again.
Perfectly in time
There
for
we
the
go.
end of year celebrations. I think there's offers going to be throughout December, so hopefully you've already seen some of those.
Yeah.
And there'll be more over the holiday period. So yeah, definitely. I think it's going to be quite a busy Top Drives holiday, really.
Okay, we have a question that I'd like to give an honourable mention to from Dima Sheglov, who asks, and you can get a carbon fibre pack as well, please can we have subtitles for people who don't understand English very well, potentially also get it translated into other languages. So I do know that you can open up submissions for subtitles in other languages from your community. Simply from a sort of humility point of view, I think there are probably more important things out there on YouTube that need to be subtitled before we get translated subtitles. But we will think about opening up submissions for anyone who is interested in giving us a hand with that. As for subtitling in English, we could start doing that maybe even as soon as Season 2 of the Top Drive show, which I'm teasing now will happen at some point. There you go. All right.
But it's worth mentioning actually that localizing the game itself has always been we've from Hutch's kind of very first game. It's always been an important aspect to us. So yeah, I think it is. It would be interesting to then expand that ambition out to the other sources of media that we're getting involved in.
While we're on it, there is, I believe, a form somewhere, perhaps we can link to that, where if you see in the game something that we've translated wrongly or badly, you can submit and say, right, this bit in the game, it says this and it should say this. So for people who speak other languages, generally I think the English is okay, we've all checked that one. You can
Yeah, that might not be an approved website, so it may need to go in the description. So check out the description for that. Okay, we've got some slightly more different questions that we wouldn't usually answer, so I'm going to see if I can find a few of those. I've got one here from, I think it's Largestella. Thank you for your question. Asking, I have a question for the festive episode. In the Top Drives car park, who owns the best car? Interesting to see what you guys drive on the daily. Well, so first of all, with our office being in the middle of London, not many people drive in because London is a magical place which has a road system that is based off of 800-year-old infrastructure, especially in the middle where it's based off 2,000-year-old infrastructure and is thereby not very suitable for driving into. So I actually don't know about many people on the Hutch team or what they drive. The only car I know about for sure is yours, John, because I've sat in it.
Yes. Yeah. So I guess I've been a bit of a. You can probably tell by the fact that there's an inordinate number of Caterhams in Top Drives. But I've been a Caterham fan since I think one overtook me and my dad when I was about 10 years old, and it was hopping down the road, and it's just like that was it from that point. Favorite car in the world. And I had one a few years ago, sold it when I needed to get a house. And then just earlier this summer, purchased another one. So yeah, I kind of an X-Track Caterham 7 that is now, sat at my house. And I probably wouldn't go as far as saying it's a daily drive because as Josie says, we generally get the tube and the train into work. But actually, because I love them so much, it gets used for basically every journey that I can do outside of that. If it's just popping to the supermarket or going to get my hair cut.
How many supermarket bags can you fit?
It depends if I got a passenger or not, but
Right.
it's not bad. It's all right. And yeah, the last few months has been a process of making it more road legal or just more suitable for the road. So lights, indicators, things like that. But yeah, I'm sure we could maybe pop up a photo of that. But yeah, I know there's a few.
Somebody got an MX-5.
Yeah,
Any?
there's
Somebody?
there's a few.
One,
There's things
two?
like kind of MX-5, at least a couple of 3 Series BMWs. Somebody with a VW camper van that they are very, very proud of, and takes down surfing quite a lot. So there's kind of few cars of interest. But yeah, I mean, like you say, the London thing, and it slightly sort of depressingly, but does put a certain limit on car purchases.
Yeah, there is a car park just behind our office that does sometimes have some rather nice cars in it.
Yeah,
I don't know
actually,
who they are.
we've definitely got a few car fans in the area around us.
There's some bankers around. There's some big
Yeah, it
banks.
could be. We're on the edge of the city in London, so I think that comes into it a little bit. But there's a I'm trying to think. There's a G63 G-Wagon Mercedes that's kind of often parked over the sort of opposite the office, which looks really lovely. And actually, probably the rarest thing in our vicinity is a stunning twisted Land Rover Defender, which I don't know if any of you know the Twisted brand. They sort of do quite modified Land Rover products, and it is lovely in kind of white with kind of black accessories.
Yeah.
So
And extremely clean.
very clean, yes.
Yeah.
So obviously, he does take it off road and gets it very, very well cleaned at the start of every week.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I didn't take it into London, but I used to drive a 1.4 GM Corsa. It was a lovely car. What are each of our dream cars? So there you go. That's a good question. So I think, John, I know that you have your love of Caterham.
I think I've probably answered it. Caterham would be first. I think I've also mentioned it in the show that Lancia Integrales would be a nice one of those. Would be a close second. And also, actually, I really want a Ford Raptor. Completely inappropriate for the roads here, but I just really want that. So if I'm not taking my Caterham to the supermarket, I'd like to take my Raptor and just chuck the shopping bags into the rear deck. It'd be good. So yeah.
Yeah, it's good for dropping the kids off to school.
It would be
all
perfect,
things like
yeah.
that,
Just
yeah.
taking bikes, and a 911. So if I had a Caterham and Integrale, a 911 of some description, I don't know, probably one that's 10 to 15 years old, probably a 993, and then my Raptor, and I would be very, very happy.
Right. Well, there's one car I remember seeing, I think in the 90s, it was like a Renault concept car. It had this extraordinarily sort of flat shape to it. It was amazing. These giant stripes of red and blue. It was the coolest car I'd ever seen at the time.
Like a little sports car.
I've never been able to. I sort of like a sports car. Now I've never seen it again. I've never been able to find it. So
Probably is
that
Renault Spider.
is it. I'll have to look that up.
Okay.
All right, that or my dad, when he turned 40 and was feeling that midlife thing, did get a 1978 Corvette, and that was very nice. Yeah, I was very impressed by that. That eventually had to be let go, but I ever had a lot of space for a car, had the money spare.
Get one of those again.
Wanted a nice car to
Definitely
look
kind
at.
of classic era.
Yeah, exactly. So when we added a nice Corvette in the game with the American Dream update, I definitely kept hold of that. Yeah, it's very nice.
Yeah. And over here, I grew up with a small selection of VHS tapes to consume, one of which was a copy of the original Italian Job. So I idolised the Lamborghini Miura from an early age. Thought that was the coolest car, and I mean its styling has held up even to this day. Yeah, there are a couple
lurking in the background.
There are a couple downstairs, so maybe we'll show those off in the other video. Got a question from Nick Zimmerman, who is asking now. They're asking about totally new manufacturers, like perhaps even premium Italian supercar manufacturer. Now, we are in a very nice fancy car showroom, and it contains very nice fancy cars. And some of them I can categorically say are Ferraris. I just said the word. There are some down there. Yeah, they exist in the real world. And they are suggesting that premium Italian supercar manufacturer would be a great addition to top drives.
Seems to keep coming up. isn't it?
Everybody
Yeah.
likes it. They have a great presence.
I think we could probably all agree that they would be a good addition to the game. Just unfortunately, I know it's Christmas and everything, but even though we just can't confirm anything really.
Yeah.
It's other than the fact that they would definitely be good. I mean, there's probably two premium Italian car manufacturers who would be nice additions to the game.
Yep. We also have a question from Zephyr RX asking about the other supercar manufacturer you are mentioning. There are many cars in this showroom that are Lamborghinis. But yes, premium Italian supercar manufacturer Reloaded are also, would also be a worthy addition.
So yes, I guess all we could say is that there is as much appetite on the team as there will be amongst the players for manufacturers of that type.
Yeah. A question from E Squared, who's asked, how about some more electric vehicles? Now, I have a soft spot for electric vehicles as they've come along and grown in technology. I think that they're just absolutely fantastic. I would really like to drive one as hard as it will go, because they seem to just have the craziest characteristics in terms of the way that they deliver their torque, and it's just such a really interesting and different way of having a car work for you. So yeah, I mean, I like electric vehicles.
Yeah, and I mean, it's the landscape is rapidly changing. Like I read a lot of car websites and car magazines, and it's just incredible. Though they've been around for a few years now, it does feel like if you could map it on a graph, the kind of interest and the quantity and the quality of electric cars has just exploded in I think in 2018 in particular. I never know what I can confirm or deny. I mean, we
just have to have a sign.
I know.
We would like to. We can't confirm.
Yeah, so we can't confirm anything. But I guess when we've discussed it, we like the idea about bringing a number of exciting electric cars together and into the game. So if we're going to add electric cars, we want to do it in quite a big way. We've even talked about the idea of doing like maybe a kind of new challenge environment to go with it. Can't confirm any of that, but those discussions have happened, and we like the idea, and we do want it to happen at some point.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, I've got a couple more questions that are quite similar to previous. We've got SH Choi, who's asking for more Korean cars, which again, we've underserved that market, I think, a little bit.
We have.
We're working on it, as with everything.
Yeah, I have one myself as my family transport when the caterum is not quite practical enough. So
What is it?
A Hyundai Santa Fe. So excellent family car.
Okay, there you go. Agostino DeMarcus asks, monster trucks when?
I was just speaking to Robin, who runs Top Drives, about this the other day. He didn't seem utterly convinced, but I would like to see a monster truck in Top Drives.
Just one?
Well,
or at least
well, no, we could probably add a few.
Yeah.
I think. Hutch has a bit of history there. We did title MMX Racing, which was sort of monster truck racing, which we all still love. So we even have the little models of monster trucks in the company. But no, it's we need to be really careful about how we how it worked really, because they're such extreme vehicles, and again, it would almost be like an unbelievable ultra specialist in probably hill climbs or anything involving bumps, like the motocross track. But yes, Robin didn't seem entirely convinced, but I will. I'll keep going on at him about it.
Thank you. Okay, Crocia says, happy holidays. Happy holidays. Thank you very much for messaging us. We've also got a bunch of comments that say you just love the videos. Thank you very much. We love making them. This one is a little bit weirdly produced, but we're having fun. This place is amazing. We also have a message from Grimjal Diego Jaquez, whose name I've said before, who says, today's my birthday. And they listed that 4 days ago as we record this. So happy birthday to you it'll probably be about a week ago now by the time this comes out. But yeah, so I've run through, I've skipped a lot of questions because I've been sort of looking for the ones that are a bit funnier. But you've all been absolutely fantastic. We have loved doing this. This has been a really cool start to the Top Drive show, and we're hoping to move it along next year with some more interesting stuff. Speaking of interesting stuff, we ran a poll last week. Which of the cars that we gave a selection, which of these cars would we buy with our holiday money? And the winner of that poll, soundly with a plurality of 36%, was the Bugatti Chiron. So not a huge surprise.
No, it's just it's a pretty sort of dominant figure in the hypercar scene and in the game. I mean, it's I still think it's probably got. I know this is not what people do, but or why they keep cards, but I still think it's probably got the best photo in the whole game. It just looks great. And obviously that's before you even look at those unbelievable stats.
Yeah. So in second place was the McLaren Senna. Both of those cars you should be able to get a glimpse of in an upcoming video, which will be linked to at some point here. We'll figure that one out.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, just pure coincidence that I can kind of look over my shoulder and actually see both those cars sat side by side, looking very, very
resplendent.
Yes, that's the word I was looking for.
Yeah. Okay. So that's where we're going to be. That's where we're leaving it from these questions. Just going to take this moment to once again give a huge shout out to the Joe Macari Performance Cars showroom that we are currently sitting in. They've been fantastic letting us come down here and video an episode of the Top Drive show here, and we're going to show off some of their wonderful cars and facilities. This place is amazing. If you ever find yourself in Southwest London or just London in general, this place is a remarkable display of performance cars, and it's constantly being updated with all the newest and fanciest stuff. So come down here, it's really cool. Yeah,
I think if you ever want to do a bit of lottery win daydreaming, I think it's definitely worth having a look at the website. It's got the most of the stock on the website, and it's just great photos, and it's just so much fun kind of having a look through, imagining what you would choose basically. And it's a full, it's a huge range. I mean, very, very high end stuff, but there's some other kind of slightly lower down cars of interest as well. So yeah, no, I definitely advise you to have a look at the website and pick out your favourites from there.
And I've been taking the opportunity to do some checks. So this is medium ground clearance. If it's below this, then it's low. So basically I've gone around seeing which of our cars I can fit this under, just to make sure that things are correct in the game. Just about every single car here is low, and definitely can't fit this under at all. So I'm satisfied with that.
So yeah, no, let it be said that this highly accurate piece of equipment here that we've been using to measure the cars, we take realism seriously.
137 millimeters. 137.
There you go.
That's where our threshold is.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Is there anything else we need to talk about?
Well, I do have a few more stats for the last 365 days. Right. Just thought I'd quickly see who, out of all our players, has done the most races in game. There's obviously tickets, so there's a certain amount. That's basically the maximum, and then you're going to have to be buying tickets with gold to go above it. The winner of that is Matt Corse. I do not recognise the name from the leaderboards. Perhaps he's not in the European service. He's doing 130 races a day on average for a year. He's also the player that has got the most losses.
Right.
I don't know if he's doing a lot of smarting or things like that. Because interestingly, a different player has the highest number of wins. That is, now it's in Greek, I think, Ioannis Chrysogalos.
Okay.
I think that says, who's been getting 115 wins a day.
Wow. That is good going.
Yeah. This is also the player who did the most upgrades, averaging 177 upgrades a day. One car can take 24 upgrades, so that's 7 cars being maxed a day for a year.
Right.
This is also the same player who has the most Tier 1 wins in events. You upgrade that many cars, think that's going to work. Winning Tier 1 in 538 events out of the 729 he entered. So pretty good going. And finally, who has the most slots? It's actually none of those two. It's somebody who does not appear to have logged in with Facebook, because they're known as Top Drives 58878.
It's not so catchy, is it?
Yeah, with an impressive 3,500 slots.
That's a big garage. I mean, that is.
Yeah, shout out to Top Drives 58878. Did I get the number right?
Yeah, I think so.
Well done. Well done, you.
That's good. It does make me think that this time next year we should probably do a bit more of a kind of formal leaderboard of
all right,
outside the gate. Yes, of kind of wins of garage slots of kind of event finishing and things like that would be quite fun.
Score it up. Yeah.
Some more projects for the new year then. Okay. Do we have anything further to discuss?
That was it.
I think we're all right then.
Yeah.
I mean, thank you so much for joining us on this journey. Things are really, it's a bit of a cliche, but this really is only the beginning. The Top Drive show, I guess this is the closing episode of season 1, if there is such a thing. But thank you so much for joining us on this journey, and we're looking forward to guiding you through this wonderful game that we call Top Drives for the next year to come in season 2.
And I think definitely some of the kind of things that are being talked about. I love the idea maybe about getting a few more, how we describe them, kind of practical Top Drives experiments, kind of get out there a little bit and maybe get into some cars. Sort of, just discussing a few things about what we could bring to the Top Drive show and the Hutch TV channel. So definitely a lot more to come, as you say.
Absolutely. Right, well then that is it for now. We will leave you with a couple of bonus shots of the wonderful Joe Macari showroom, but also stay tuned for a more in-depth video about that. And this has been season 1 of the Top Drive show, and thank you for playing Top Drives.
Thank you.
Oh, and happy holidays.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.